rather than quotation. You know, it's interesting to get into, like I mentioned before, this knowledge has its own fire. You can feel it, man. You know, be reading a book and you be just as fidgety and make you giggle and stuff, be so, you know, and that gets your energies up, you know. It'll make you talk about it, you know. I mean, all metaphysical students, they have coffee rooms, you know. In the church I was in, half damn people wouldn't even go home. They go downstairs so they can kick it and talk about this little bit that the ministers have been talking about, you know. But it's the energy. And that's okay for a while, except it distracts you from sitting in the silence so that you can unfold, so that you can become. The hardest part of study, when Drew Ali said, the first thing you do is study yourself. And when you finish studying yourself, go back and study yourself again, you know, because you're never finished. You're never finished. Those that get to a certain plateau of development, they get their chakras open, they get their glandular systems functioning, then they have to attend to their mental thing. Well, they have to sort out their thoughts. Mm-hmm. Brother L.C. Bay, I went over his house one day and said, "Brother, you know what I'm doing now?" I said, "Well, what's up?" "I'm sorting out all my thoughts." You know, that's a hell of a process. You know? And you can't sort them all out. He knows that. But you're to be mindful of your thinking. Because when you get to a certain level of atomic energy, you think something and it happens. You know, I mean, you can hurt somebody, you know, or tear up something, or like Maxine, a witch, laying up in the bathtub, cussing somebody out, and all of a sudden the ceiling starts crumbling, you know, because her energy was hitting the ceiling, going after the person that she was thinking those thoughts about, you know. And the stuff just started falling all in the bathtub, right back on her ass.
I don't want to get crazy. I just want to ask, is it true that even the process of thoughts, bad and pure thoughts, literally begin to rip up the universe?
The collective forces, according to the metaphysicians and occultists, are what we are seeing in tornadoes, earthquakes, and horrendous storms that do the destroying. If you think about it, you know, and in fact, you don't need to think about it. You've already had the experience. Walk in one neighborhood and the energy is light, relaxed, and peaceful. Walk in another community and you get tense, irritable, and even angry, you know. That's the pockets of thought energy lingering in those areas. The first time I had that experience, I was coming up 83rd, never forget it, turned right onto Huff. And this shit hit me in my solar plexus, almost bent me over. The energy was so dense, you know, you know. That's what was going up and down Huff all day, 7 days a week, bad negative energy. So we're trying to get power that allows us to do battle with the invisible world. And much of that world is not people, it's bad energy, negative, evil, psychic, murderous thoughts. If you're not open to, or if you're open to receptivity and you're not in control, somebody else can make you hurt somebody else by just simply thinking it. The first time I experienced that, a young boy standing outside, and this is a teenager, standing outside of Woolworths. And everybody that passed by was standing in the middle of both doors. He was going in his mind, steal something, steal something. He was thinking mentally. You could hear the thoughts coming out, steal something, steal something. You know? That's 14, 15 years ago. But he found out he had this power of suggestion. So he went down to try it out, you know. So you need to be mindful of your thinking and to listen to your own spirit. You know? Because maybe one day, spirit say, don't leave the house. You know? Don't go anywhere. You know? Oh man, this is waiting on me. Yeah, right. You know, the swing of the pendulum. There is a time and a season for everything under the sun. Is a law fixed in nature. It is not going to change. we would be wise to adhere to that as universal law. I'm going to, I guess, go on and get started. Let me put this up first. Family emergency, okay. Okay. She's missed quite a few of them. What's that, Moore? What did the color fellow say?
Something about your face.
Just operate the cameras back there. Don't get all up in my lecture. Don't get all up in my Kool-Aid now. You don't know what flavor it is. I like that little saying. I'm all up in my Kool-Aid. You don't even know what flavor it is. Let me see if I can find some Scotch tape. Need some Scotch tape, more. Look back here and see if you see on the counter there. We're going to look at this divine square. I got another revelation on it, and it's not in anybody's book. I looked. So, as I mentioned to you, one of the wonderful things about about this science and self is that if you pay attention to it, and that is by thinking, just take a symbol and hold it up sometime in the evening or night, or go to bed with a symbol before your third eye and ask what it means. And be interested, not just ask because you ain't got nothing else to do, because you really want to know. Your spirit gives you that which you so desire. Remember that as law. And at some point, maybe not that night, but then again, maybe, it'll just reveal it to you. I see we're going to be doing this class over again. Ain't enough American Negro colored people here to make this an official class. Huh? I didn't hear you. No, you all are here. In fact, sign my book here. They're here won't have to pay. We're trying to set up a standard here. Sign your name, put the date up at the top there, and pass it across. Okay. This square, this wisdom square, represents everything you're trying to do in terms of spiritual development and the knowledge of self, as represented in lines, as represented in symbology and symbolism. Right angle, the square, the second square, the third square. It's yourself in your perfect development towards the measure of the fullness of the stature of Christ is the whole concept. And it's not in a book. The becoming, the same concept. Wherever two or three are gathered in my name, and what does name mean? In divine nature, there I will be in the midst of things. Okay. That's all on that. I need that other. What? Is it in there? Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay. Saving this for last and mentioning it last week, I don't know if there's any more books up there. The Holy Science. Did anybody get a copy of it? No? Oh, someone mentioned the problem of the European changing the time factor in relationship to the years of the European or the Georgian calendar as opposed to the Moorish calendar, and that it has thrown things off. And that's true. However, from the Hindustanian astronomer's point of view, and the Hindu astronomer is a black man group. The Hindus, Kushites, are those across the river from Africa, across the valley of Mesopotamia. That's Kush, that's Ethiopia, where Abraham came from. So we're talking again about the same people. Let me get this up here right now. Did anybody get a copy of the Holy Science? I don't hear anybody say nay or yay.
I got scared about any more books.
Well, no, that is what I told you now. What I told you is certain books, okay, that keeps explaining you to you and where you are. Those are the books that are most relevant. I'm not saying don't buy books. What I'm trying to forewarn you is don't get caught up in the energy. Okay? Okay, and it's real because it's so subtle. And because it's so interesting. It's like, well, maybe I get one more piece of chocolate cake, I'll be all right. You know? Man, it was good.
Basically, you eat the whole cake and sick.
Right. You know? So, know what you're doing. This is living stuff we're dealing with here. And the key is understanding that those that write in this field know that. They know they have an advantage over the novelist and the textbook writer, the story form. They know they're working with living energy that corresponds with the mental plane of human beings. They know everybody has a deep interest in this. That's whether they're basic fundamentalists or so-called atheists. It doesn't matter. This fits into nature. They're able to exploit and profiteer by rewriting the same stuff over and over. Just change the wording and reading. Those are the hustlers. Every subject matter in the writing field has a group of hustlers. And they just write books for the money. One of the most exploitative of those, someone that Europeans thought was really an intellectual, he wasn't any more than a writer, was Isaac Asimov.
Oh, you took the microphone off. Wonderful.
Jack, buddy. Friend. Brother, he hates the word buddy. He has a peculiar definition for that term.
My definition, I'll tell you what I heard.
Okay. Okay, let me make an effort to explain this horrific concept here. This is the great cycle, often referred to as the great year of Brahman, from the Hindu point of view. From the Sufi point of view, it is the great year of Allah. Okay? From the Jewish point of view, they didn't have one. They borrowed the Hindi Kushites' view, and that's determinable by the introduction to the confraternity edition of the Catholic Bible. In the introduction, they run the Brahmic cycles in a Catholic Bible. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. The point of 0 degrees Aries is not the same point in a constellational charting. These are constellations, not signs, okay? In other words, we're talking about the whole real 360-degree deal of universe, not solar system. Okay? And what we're dealing with is solar astrology when we talk natal astrology. This is about the whole universe in its evolution. Our planet, in its orbital turn and in its cycle, revolves around the sun with its moon and the rest of the planets. Then this solar system evolves in its orbit around its sun. Okay? Let me be illustrative here, because I want this to be comprehended here. Let me put my fez on here so I can look like I'm intelligent. And make some of you a bit envious, so you'll want one. Did yours ever come? Good, that's good. Didn't want you coming here shooting at Emiola. Dad. I hate that. Hey, Dad, you got a cigarette? Hey, Dad, you got a quarter? I'm not your daddy, boy, and I ain't got no quarter. Get away from me. This is our, let's say this is our solar system. And it looks much smaller than that in the universe. Evolving around its sun. We're the third rock from here. Let's just, it's not be too dramatic here. Is that 8 other planets? That's all right. This is in its orbital movement, in its station, or what appears to be. The fact is, this is not just evolving in a given space. This entire system is also revolving in a greater cyclical orbit around a greater sun with other systems. Okay? Okay? This sun moves towards and away from what is called the central magnetic center, referred to in the Hindi text as the Brahman, the electromagnetic field of energy that distributes all of the intelligence throughout and to the rest of the 12 constellations of our universe. In the great cycle at its peak is what is called the golden age, is up here. When our sun, carrying our solar systems, plural, towards the magnetic center, let's say it's up there, when it gets nearer or nearest to that magnetic center without burning up, okay, we're talking untold amounts of energies here, energies greater than the fire of our own sun. If you can imagine that. You've seen pictures of this lavic whip slinging that our sun does. Imagine a sun 20, 30, 40, 50 times larger than our sun. You know, we're talking real power, buddy. Okay? That's the sun that feeds the solar systems that are in our system, that we are a part of. Not just, we're not the only ones evolving in the universe. I'm pretty sure we can buy that one now. Okay. So when it gets nearer to this point, then we're at this point of what is called the golden age. This is, and was, rather, the point of what is referred to as La Muria. When most human beings on this planet were divine beings. That's the ancient legendary that we don't have much information about. And this guy says he's found Atlantis, which is on the decline of. Now, we're talking about approximately 24,000 years. It varies 1,000 years or so, and there's a reason for that in terms of this measurement of the great cycle. I'm using Sri Yukteswar's information because that's the information I'm most familiar with. Let me see if I can find it here in my notes among my workout. This great cycle is broken down into periods. I won't even try to get into the language of the Sanskrit. The first period is considered 1,200 years of orbit. Can you see that over there? The next period is 2,400 years. The next period is 3,600 years. The next period is 4,800 years. The sum total of 4,800 years ascending, 4,800 years descending, give or take 400 years overlapping, 400 years trailing. Okay, that's where this extra 1,000 years is somewhere in there. Okay, I'm trying to keep this from getting stickily complex. I don't want to get into tidbits. I want you to get this overall picture of the process of evolution. And what is evolving us is an intelligent, magnetic field most religionists try to refer to as God and start getting down on their knees to worship it. And it doesn't even know that they're down on their knees. Okay? Religion belongs between man and Superman. The creator of has nothing to do with folks falling down on their damn face. Okay? The creator has to do with transforming you into a perfect being. That's its work. It doesn't care if you're a sinner or not, a saint or not, a liar, or you're going to get transformed. How long is it going to take you? Is all the universe is interested in knowing. Okay? The fools that are out there stumbling around high on something, drunk on something, full of dope, full of foolishness and evil, they still must become God. I think I like what Barbara said to some degree. She got mad because she heard somebody talking about one of her female ministers walking around doing the catwalk. That's a gay walk for women. And she heard something. She says, now if anybody's got anything to say about homosexuals, I want you to just think about it. They have to find God too, just like everybody else. And that's right. They're not dispensed from finding God. Let me leave that alone because I'm getting ready to. I try to be fair-minded, but I got my biases too. But I try to be fair-minded. Okay. Now, what we're talking about here is this. When we talk declination, we're talking going downward. When we talk inclination, we're talking about going up. That's the two concepts. However, in the evolutionary process, declination is not necessarily a bad thing, okay? It depends on what segment or cycle we're in. We're talking about our solar system being in one of these cycles, being influenced by an entire constellation, not a sign, okay? We need to understand that. The horrendous power of a constellation is multiple times that of the idea of one planet in configuration, or two planets in configuration equaling a symbol of. Okay? We're talking about some constellations have 8 suns in them. Yeah, okay? That we don't virtually experience, fortunately, because we'd all be barbecue beef. And with 8 suns shining on it, said, well, we can't handle this one. You know, his brother's walking in the sun, whew, damn, man, sun kicking my butt. You know, one sun, you know. Imagine 8 of those shining on this one planet. Okay, and just trying to give you an idea of where we are. Okay, we're in the center of power, power, power. Okay, so we know that it does not correlate with the idea of death. That death has got to be a hoax, a psychological trick that we keep buying birth after birth until we get to be a living son of God. See? That's what we're trying to do. You're trying to become a son. All right. So in this process, where we are now in this declination is at the end of the Piscean age. I think I got that turn right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's turned right. Okay. Descending. Now, let me see if I got the information here. Okay. Yeah, all right. Here's where we are. Excuse me, not here. We're here. Now, keep in mind polarities. Okay? Here, you have Virgo opposite Pisces. That's a terrible symbol for Pisces. Okay? So we're not, when you talk about a cycle, like we're most instructed that we're in the Aquarian, or going to the Aquarian age, which is opposite what? This gentleman here in the nice tie. Aquarius is opposite? Thank you, my brother. All right. So that we know that the reference point is not the same in constellational astrology. That's the point I'm trying to make, okay? Because if we were in Aquarius, we'd be in the golden age. Okay, we're not, okay? Here is where we are in relationship to the declination. Here you see AD as opposed to BC. Moving in and through this constellation does not put us into Leo, okay? In terms of Pisces, Virgo. It puts us in relationship to Aquarius. We're looking at it like it's this way. It isn't. It is everywhere around us. It is not going like this. It is going like, okay. We're somewhere in the vicinity of this horrendous movement that when you get out in space, north and south and east and west are not the same anymore. Okay, because you make those relationships from a point towards a point. Okay? Now when you get out in space, you have to talk about star and groupings of star to find your direction. So when you leave in a spaceship or whatever, you have mapped out that you're headed towards Draconis Pacificus or something. Okay? So when you get out there, and the brother said, wasn't you supposed to turn right here? No, you wasn't supposed to turn right there. You're supposed to point towards and know where, in degrees, light years, where Draconis Pacificus is. Okay? So we're talking another kind of direction, not the same one we're talking about when we're standing on the Earth mass in relationship to left, right, up, and down. Okay? So approximately. Now, the problem I have with Sri Yukteswar is he ignored the Moors in terms of this process of gradual, slight infiltration of the energies of the electrical age, beginning after this date here. Right in here is where it starts, approximately 499 AD is what Sri Iswar says. The entrance into the Aquarian cycle, or out of the Piscean cycle, begins. Okay, and they started discovering bits and particles of electricity. The ones that began discovering it were Moors, according to Ivan van Sertima, in the African presence in early Europe. Not Kepler, who was a student of one of the Moors, okay, and some other Europeans that got the fame after they ran y'all's folks out of Europe and changed the books. Okay. But we need to know this consciousness we were a part of this awakening, thinking consciousness.
African presence of early Europe.
Early Europe, yeah. Ivan van Sertima. Okay, so we move by these various periods towards and through what is called the Dark Ages. When we will get towards the Aquarian cycle will be approximately 4100 AD, where we are going to be in the year 2000 will be approximately midway between here and here, where what we are experiencing now in high technology will be even greater. They already have a great deal of this stuff, but it interferes with the cell of petroleum, oil. Okay? They can operate a car, a plane, and a train without burning fuel, but they can't profit from it. Okay? The same reason, what was his name? J.P. Morgan ripped Tesla off. He was trying to show the human race how they could harness the energy in the energy field, even at that time in the 18th century. But J.P. Morgan couldn't profit off it. He owned most of the coal coming into America. So they ripped this shit off, you know, and set us back. I don't know how many hundreds of years. Okay. So there's been a lot of interference. You know, there's no doubt about it. There's been interference with the progress. Of course, we already know that the real problem is a culture that cultivates consciousness is the real problem. People have the things to live with, but they don't know how to live with the things for better living. And I keep mentioning this. When a human being announces to his mind that your car is more important than you, he's missing the point. So this period goes on for, in increments of 1,200-year periods. That's the easiest way to digest it. And I recommend that everybody get a copy of the Holy Science. And first read it, then go back and study it, okay? You don't have to become obsessed with the Great Cycle. When we get here to 2,400, most of us won't be here anyway, or we'll be on our way back, okay? Unless you got some kind of plan where you can live a couple hundred years. Now, you might have something going I don't know about. But most of us will be moving on. Remember the first class I told that to, and it stunned them. You know, that they were startled, as if they expected to be alive in 2,400. You know? Doing what? Now, there are some beings still here that were around here. They're still down here.
What are they doing?
Taking care of business, real business, planetary business. You know, directing things. Stopping nature from kicking us all off the planet.
But they aren't among us.
Huh?
They aren't among us.
No, they're not. There's some, the rumor is that there's some in the, what do they call, the Shasta Mountains in California. And of course, there are great ones in the Himalayas. And I suspect there are great ones in the mountains of Kilimanjaro that are African.
Have you ever heard of, do you know Dr. Jill Pukum?
Yeah, Dr. Pukum. I know of her. I don't know her.
I've heard her talk about
visiting with someone who was out of the indigenous people of this land. And your comments right now is reminding me of how she described this person or being to be. I don't know how long he's been here, but certainly he's been here more than the average 109 years and feeble. He ain't feeble. And, he's a powerful priestess or priest or whatever.
How about God?
God, right.
There's a collective that we have to deal with in what is called the collective consciousness. And the race consciousness is what plays on the accepting, quote, conscious mind. We all expect to die. So we work towards someday when we retire and someday when we shall die. We don't work consciously towards someday I shall become God. Someday I shall become perfect and everlasting. Those are not among the collective thoughts of human beings. That's the exception. And the more you plant that in consciousness, the more you'll bring back here with you when you come back. Even if you get to this point where you can overcome death, and you can get there in this lifetime, but you need some help from the masters up on high, they probably won't let you stay down here anyway, unless they choose you to follow them in their process. There's flocks of them, and they just kind of let us be there, and they're there, wherever there is, That's a whole nother kind of thing. But that's the model of where we're going. This is many, many thousands of years, the great cycle. What spiritual development and spiritual grace allows you to do is to take these quantum leaps. Quantum leaps. Quantum leaps. Okay? So the more fire, pure energy you can digest, the more you're able to transform your physical, then your astral, then your etheric body, so that your body of light dominates your human environment. Then if you don't go to sleep, because you don't need any more sleep, you're not going to die, and you shall not be harmed by the second death. You just click, and you're just going out of the body. It's almost that simple. That's what you're trying to get to. Okay? And you keep that blueprint in your subconscious, so when you make another body through the next mama, she has a better blueprint for her body to work with. Okay. We're not going to do the whole cycle here. Next week is supposed to be, and will be, Moorish inquiry. It's an open book inquiry, but I want to prep you here so that you'll have the materials with you that you've accumulated, notes and other little tidbits that will help you get through this information with the intent of knowledgeableness, knowing. We're not looking for scores. We want you to find out if you know what you've been studying, if you understand it. Okay? So I'm going to read off some things that you need to know so that you'll have access to them, which may even mean bring a book or so. You need to know the definition of more. You need to know what an ankh is. You need to know what the word sim means. What does the word sim mean, my brother? With the checkered shirt on. What does the word sim mean? Nope. We can't have a guessing game here. No, sim means the drawing of the representation of an image on the ground. Symbology. The ancient S-E-M. One way of spelling it could have, because when I start talking about spelling, I'm talking a translated concept. Okay, so S-I-M, S-A-M could be all the same thing. What chapter and what verse in the Bible tells you that you're God? You need to know that. You already know how many numbers there are, how many degrees in a circle. You already know the meaning of man. You need to know what are the 12 powers of man. You need to be able to write them down. I'm sure you know what the code EVE represents. I see brother's head went like this here before I got the sentence out of my mouth there. He didn't even check his own memory banks to find out if it's still back there. What does EVE represent? Speak up, my brother. Right, and what is V worth in numerology? Which means what? Master what?
Master builder.
All right, all you do is deduce it. What did Eve do? You see? Okay. She built the house, not made with hands. Eternal in the heavens. Okay. We need to know what the crescent and the star means. And you need to know not just ISLAM and what that means. You need to know what these symbols mean. What does the first one mean, my brother? I'm not picking on you. I want to perk you up. One. What else? Do you know anything else it means? Somebody help him out. Was the crescent and the star? What else does it represent? No. The crescent and the star. The pineal and the pituitary gland. The male and the female gland in the brain. The pyramid. What does it mean? What does it represent? Beside self. And the word tells you what it means. Yes, but what man as what? Having what? What is this? What kind of building is this?
Physical body.
Huh? Somebody else said something here.
Eternal.
No, it's not eternal. It looks like it's going to last forever, though, don't it? The perfect body. All the mathematics on the planet is structured in the Pyramid of Giza. The perfect body. That's what you're trying to build. A perfect body. But not of the physical. You're trying to build the spiritual perfect body. Okay. What does L represent? The compass and the square. Just told you. When I got down off the table, I just told you what it meant.
Rebuilding, the transcending of the...
Towards the measure of the fullness of the statue of Christ. That's your spiritual self. Okay? All right. We just did the compass, didn't we? On the table. That's what I was showing you. All right. What does the A represent? A? What law?
Correspondence.
All right, all right. All right, that's good, man. Yeah, okay? Know what these mean. I don't want nobody out there telling, Brother ISLAM stand for I self-law and master. You know, that's braggadocio stuff. You're going to talk to the brother, explain it to him. You know, if not, just stand there and let him gibble and gibble. Met a brother that almost gave me a ride in his cab. I ain't seen the brother in 2 years. I said, brother, where you been? Why don't you quit coming over to the... I said, what you been doing besides work? Well, I've been studying. Been studying Quran. I said, well, that's fine, brother. What about the other two? What other two? He had no idea. Self and your past. Oh, well, now Wali, brother Wali. My name ain't no damn Wali. He forgot my name because he's not thinking free man. He's thinking servant. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. As above, what's going on up here in your head is going on in your body. What's going on in your body is going on in your world. The law of correspondence. And then it goes out, further out, out into the universe. These are fixed laws. Okay, let me move a little faster here. You know the meaning of these 5 letters? A-L-L-A-H. Anybody? All right, very good. Okay. Did you get that, my brother? A-L-L-A-H. Arm, leg, leg, arm, head. And don't miss none of this now. This is good stuff. The melodious, harmonious, metrical sound is called what? The melodious, harmonious, metrical sound is called what? I'm going to write it on the board for you. It's called what? In the Latin. Nobody, I didn't, numeros, number. That's the definition of number I just read. Melody, harmony, and metric is the meaning of number. It has nothing to do with what I just wrote on the board. What does amen mean? Isaiah chapter 45, verse 15. Amen Ra. And about 35 other amens. The hidden one. Nobody went to that and looked it up, did they? The hidden one. Or the hidden God. O Lord, thou surely art a God who hides himself. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 15, right there. How many openings are there in the female body, my sister? How many openings are there in the male body, my brother? Thank you. How many in the female body? 12, right, okay. Name the 7 cosmic laws of the universe. What's the first law of nature? Anybody? All right. What's the second law? Anybody? The bug killer over there. What's the second law of the Kabbalion, my brother?
I want to say vibration.
He just said vibration. Are you listening?
No, actually I'm trying to write down what you're saying.
Well, I want you to do that, but I also want you to recall, educare, draw out that which is within. What's the good of having it if you can't bring it to consciousness when you need it? You know? Then, if not, you're no more than a book sitting on a shelf. The law of mentalism. The law of, give me another one. No, not you. You know them. The sister in the green sweatshirt there. Give me one. Thank you. Give me one back there, brother. Sir.
You got gender in there.
Thank you. Give me another one, that brother in the Nike. Don't mean to pop my fingers. I know it's a white man thing. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. You just throw one right off the top of your head there. Which is called what in Sanskrit? What's the word we intellectuals like to throw around?
Causation.
No. No, it's not causation. Causation and cause and effect are not the same thing. That's one of the laws, but that's not cause and effect. Karma. Yes. Okay, is there one missing, perhaps?
Should be 7, right?
It's supposed to be 7. Anybody? Is there one missing? He called one of them called gender out. Nobody called polarity. Okay. Okay, we got all 7 of them. Where is the mouth of God? Man must not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Where is that mouth? There's a very technical term for it that almost sounds Arabic. I'm not going to give you all these clues next Friday. The medulla, the meddu, oblongata. That should fascinate you enough so you wouldn't forget it. Where in the is the ankh found in the symbol of the ankh found in the human body? Where in the uterus?
Rear portion.
Yes, upper portion, right on the wall, upper wall part of the female uteric wall. What does Garden of Eden mean? You don't have to say duality. What does that word mean? It's right in front of you. Very good. The Garden of Need is what? What is it that you need? Yourself. Who is what? What's the synonym for self?
Me,
No. Eye is a synonym for a third eye. What's the other symbol? A synonym for self. Soul, is it not? Yes. Name 3 divine words of God. 3 divine words of God. You chant them. You have chanted them. Name them. 1. 2. Who? He called thou. Nope. Somebody said it. I heard him. Who? That's right. Yeah. Okay. What does that star mean? Thank you. That's simple. What are the 9 colors of the 9 vibrations? What is 1? What is 2? What is 3? What is 4? What is 5? What color blue? What is 6? What is 7? 7 is purple, right? 8. 8 is what? Right. Pink. Yes.
So it's 9 colors.
No, there are 8 vibrations. At 9, all of the vibrations emanate. You get what? Thank you. You get the rainbow. The color code that C.M. places in his clock is an electrical color code. What we're talking about is the natural color code seen through the premise of a crystal from the rays of the sun, and also how vapor, the rays of the sun, and air builds the rainbow across the sky that most of us have not seen since 1965. Which automatically represents nature is in harmony when you see it. And usually something wonderful happens during that period. We have not. And when's the last time any of y'all saw a rainbow over Georgia? Been a long time, man. Yeah.
I've seen one.
Yeah, good. Good. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, it's been a long time since I've seen one. What is the line in the circle, or what does the line in the circle mean?
It's that male aspect, isn't it?
Nope. The circle and the line is what?
It's the female male creative force, isn't it?
Nope. It is the design of what everything is made of. The circle and the line. There is nothing else. What are the 7 churches? Nope. What are the 7 churches?
All the 7 centers in the body.
Nope. What are the 7 churches? The 7 vertebrae are the churches.
That's what I mean.
What are the 7 lampstands? What are the 7 lampstands?
The vertebrae.
Very good. Didn't trick my brother. Remember, there are symbolic synonyms. What are the 7 stars in his right hand?
Same thing.
Nope. Ma'am? No, the 7 stars in the right hand. I don't know if I did this in this class or not. I certainly did it on Sundays. The 7 stars are the 7 lights of the spinal cord, the 7 neuron centers lit up. Star means light, and it also means power. The glands are functioning. They're perfect and illumined. In the right hand, it means the one who shows them to you owns them, has them. The right hand means I possess, I have. Okay? Why he's showing them in the right hand. Okay?
7 neurons.
The 7 neuron centers attached to the spinal cord working through the vertebrae. They're not on the vertebrae, they're on the spinal cord working through those vertebrae areas. I would put that in there, but I don't want to confuse you. What are the 2 olive branches, his 2 witnesses? What are they called? They're sitting right here in the room. Nobody remembers that one. How about Lord of the earth? Revelations chapter 5, verse 11. Lord of the earth. The cerebral spinal sympathetic nervous system. Those are the 2 olive branches. If you keep that inside, then you'll understand the whole to-doings with the book of Revelations in terms of being killed and laying dead in the street, okay, and not moving for 3 days. If you've ever been in a status of meditation, you know you can't move your body when the Spirit locks it in. And how they get back up, have power to shut up the heavens so that there's no rain, or to make it rain. It's to make your own spiritual substance flow, or to stop it from flowing. Stay inside. And it'll make sense. If you stay inside, your spirit will explain it to you. But you got to read. How many of y'all read the book of Revelation since I started this class? Raise your hand, honestly. That's almost embarrassing. A student studies. The audience, who likes to applaud, just sits and listens and believes everything. I'll have y'all out there in the Heaven's Gate before the week is out. If y'all ain't careful. All right. What does 666 really mean? What's the first thing I told you it meant? That wasn't the first thing. Then I told you. How do we know it means sex, sex, sex? Because this Anglo-Saxon British word is the word for what number?
6.
That's all. It's that simple. Okay, you don't have to go to the IBM machine like the good brother tried to take everybody. 666 is the IBM machine. It's going to be the... He's missing the point. When your head and your heart and your loins are full of sex and lust, you ain't nothing but the devil. It's whether you want to be or not. Okay? And there'll come that point where your lust will ride up your vertebrae and attack your brain. And you'll be standing there looking at whoever is of the opposite sex licking your lips. That's when you find out you got more lust in your system than you have pure energy or pure consciousness. And your body will let you know it. Okay? So you have to transform it. It isn't going anywhere. It's your energy. Okay? But you got to transform it. That's what meditation and chanting is about. You transform your own energy. Okay. What does take the book and eat it mean? Just got through telling you. Where?
Go inside.
Inside. Take the book and eat it. Inside. And it will be sweet in your mouth and bitter in your belly. What are the 7 seals on the book and why? Where are the 7 seals on the book and why?
7 seals are the...
Where are they on the book of Revelations? Yes, they're on the back of the book. Why are they on the back of the book? Because that's where your vertebrae is. All right, okay. What are the 7 vials or bowls? You all didn't get that. The 7 vials or bowls are the 7 vowels. See, the word is right there, because when you read the chapter, you'll see in one, it'll say 7 vials. Then it will say 7 bowls. Look at vial and bowl. See that? The 7 sounds. The bowl is simply what holds the 7 sounds. That's each vertebrae where the chakra is. And they sound. That's what the trumpets are telling you. A trumpet makes sound, makes music, makes harmony. Okay. How do you square the circle? Anybody can tell me? I know we did this one. Of course, it helps when you come to both my classes. That means you learn twice as much. Anybody? How do you square the circle? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12. That's how you square the circle. Okay? Now you've heard that. What is the mystical definition of Jew? Anybody?
Jewels.
That's right. Very good. And those jewels are what? Not the chakras. 12 what? What are the 12 powers coming through in the physical body? Very good. 12 glands. Okay, I got a couple of verses here. Explain Revelations 12, verses 1 and 2. Write that down. Explain Revelations 12, verses 1 and 2. So look it up. Looks like you all would be interested in going into Revelations and be fascinated or either be frightened to death. Come back trembling, oh, Brother Freeman, I was so scared.